Demonic beasts, paralyzing torture, spine-chilling cannibalism, a blood-curdling scream, and hell unleashed. Welcome to The Art Story. My name is Tatyana, and today we are talking about 5 scary paintings in art history and the stories behind them. In 1498, the Netherlandish painter Gerard David painted a diptych that portrays one of the most horrific deaths of all time. In the 6th century BC, a corrupt judge named Sisamnes was flayed alive for committing bribery. This horrendous execution was ordered and overseen by the Persian king Cambyses II, who stands directly behind the reclined nude body of Sisamnes. Gerard David does not shy away from depicting Sisamnes flaying in graphic detail. The skin of his entire calf has been removed, exposing raw, bare flesh underneath. Notice how the flayer furthest to the right casually grips Sisamnes' flayed ankle as he attempts to pull the skin off his foot. Sisamnes, very much alive, grimaces in what must have been unbearable pain. His flayers, on the other hand, go about their job methodically, and the surrounding audience seems disturbingly unfazed. After all, being flayed alive was not exactly uncommon in the 1400s. In the right background, you'll notice the chair from which Sisamnes used to deliver his verdicts, which King Cambyses ordered to be enveloped and draped by Sisamnes' flayed skin. Cambyses then appointed Sisamnes' son Otanes to take his father's place as the next judge. Cambyses said the following: "You will sit to administer justice upon the skin of your delinquent father. Should anyone incite you to do evil, remember his fate." This painting was destined as a visual warning to the local magistrates of Bruges to always remain just and uncorrupt. Hieronymus Bosch's depiction of hell has captivated and disturbed viewers since its conception in the early 16th century. This painting by the Dutch Renaissance master feels like that surreal nightmare you once had and can never quite erase from your memory. Destined as a visual warning against the dangers of sin, this work of art is brimming with appalling scenes of punishment, torture, and death. While cities burn in the background, a bird-headed monster devours and excretes nude human bodies, giant instruments enact physical torture, and a pig wearing a nun's habit molests a man. The painting also features surreal creatures whose forms startle and confuse. A pair of massive ears brandishes a knife. A tree man whose body is composed of a cracked open egg houses a dinner gathering, and a human lizard wearing a turban conducts a choir with tongue. Bosch's vision of eternal damnation shows us just how limitless, chaotic, and inexplicably weird our imagination can be. Now let's look at a painting that delves into the dark and impenetrable realms of one's subconscious. Henri Fuseli's The Nightmare shocked its 18th century audience. It is dark, unsettling, and creepy. A woman, bathed in white light, almost falls off her bed whilst in a deep, troubling sleep. An ape-like incubus with piercing eyes sits on her chest. To the left, a demonic, crazed horse emerges from the dark shadows of the chamber. With flared nostrils and wide, bulging eyes, it has sometimes been interpreted as a visual pun on the word nightmare. Everything about this painting is disquieting. The woman is sleeping so deeply that she looks completely unconscious, and the incubus is staring directly at us. So as the viewer, you feel as if you have just intruded upon this frightening scene. The creature's forms are enveloped in shadow, shrouding them and their intentions in mystery. The incubus was a creature derived from mythology that was known to prey on women as they were sleeping, often sexually. The rest of the subject matter comes entirely from Fuseli's imagination. The Swiss-English painter was always fascinated with the subconscious and the images our mind is capable of creating. This painting has been interpreted as a representation of the chest pressure and suffocation felt while having a nightmare or experiencing sleep paralysis. It is a troubling visual encapsulation of nightmares and bestiality, with unsettling undertones of rape, violation, and voyeurism. At the age of 72, a deaf, fragile, and isolated Goya painted this spine-chilling scene. It depicts the mythological god Chronos, or Saturn, devouring the body of his own son. Saturn's hands sink into his child's spine. He has already devoured his child's head. His gaping mouth is about to bite off the left arm. Blood oozes from his child's neck and runs down his arm and shoulders. Goya depicts Saturn as a frightened, crazed monster with angular limbs crouching awkwardly in the dark. His bulging eyes suggest that he himself is shocked at his own violence. They communicate a frenzied panic, fear, and shame. But aside from the gore of this painting and its exploration of insanity, perhaps the scariest fact about this artwork is that it was never intended to be seen by anyone. After witnessing war, political upheaval, and turning deaf due to an unknown illness, an old and disheartened Goya bought a farmhouse on the outskirts of Madrid and painted 14 murals on its interior walls. Goya never mentioned these paintings or wrote about them. They weren't even discovered until long after his death. Saturn devouring his son was painted in the dining room, almost as if in an act of twisted, satiric humour. And finally, Edvard Munch's The Scream of 1893. This is one of the most iconic and most recognised paintings in the history of Western art. A single androgynous figure stands on a bridge, cradles his skull-shaped head with elongated hands, and lets out a harrowing scream. The figure is being suffocated by swirling strokes of paint to the extent that he almost becomes one with the background. The fiercely orange and yellow waves of paint, denoting the sky, create the impression that the canvas itself is bleeding. There is a specific passage in Munch's diary that has been linked to this very painting. I was walking along the road with two friends. The sun went down. I felt a gust of melancholy. Suddenly the sky turned a bloody red. I stopped, leaned against the railing, tired to death, as the flaming skies hung like blood and sword over the blue-black ford and the city. My friends went on. I stood there trembling with anxiety, and I felt a vast, infinite scream tear through nature. These words intensify the emotional turmoil of the painted figure that seems to be morphing into an alien-like creature before our very eyes. This painting is chilling for its ability to express such intensity of emotion through purely visual forms. The feeling of desperation, hopelessness, existential anxiety, and horror is uneasy and foreign, and at the same time, all too relatable. There you go, 5 scary paintings of art history and the stories behind them. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos on art and art history. Let us know in the comment section down below what you consider to be the scariest work of art of all time. Thanks for watching The Art Story, and stay tuned for much more.